What's going on, boys? Today we are talking a bit about evil, and maybe some other topics, but we'll be putting it under order development because typically on this channel, the only videos that get lots of views or those slight algorithm bumps are MBTI videos. And the narrowing video was meant to be another one of these small, overlooked, heart-to-heart videos, and for some reason that one got an algorithm bump, and it wasn't supposed to, so we are not taking that chance again. So the world is nasty, and I'm beginning to understand the long-term ripple effects events and emotions can have on you, even if you don't think they're happening, or even if you think they don't exist. They do, and it should be obvious that they do, but it doesn't always feel that way. Anyway, it seems to me the way the world works is you are presented a set of values or moral standards, and you're told if you uphold these, then you are a good person and good things will happen to you. But when you do your best to uphold them, you get fucked mercilessly, and worse, it feels like you are getting fucked specifically because you were trying to uphold them. Like, it's not just you are trying to uphold something ineffective, it's like you were given or sprayed with a scent that attracts wolves to you. Like that one guy we talked about a while ago, with the satanic name, who did everything in his power to try to do the right thing, and still almost got fucked at the end. So you can't try to do good. So your next option is to do nothing, which you aren't going to do, because you need to be doing something, or you want to be doing something. You can't just crawl into yourself and disappear forever. So your next option is to do evil. And when you try to do evil, again, you get fucked. But now, the people fucking you have an excuse to fuck you. You're a bad person. You deserve this. Except when other people do evil, and not just, bad things generally, I mean purely evil things, they flourish. And you might be thinking, well, you do good and you get fucked over, but you feel good for doing good. But no, doing good does not feel good. It doesn't make you feel good. You're doing good because you are a fundamentally bad person repenting. You don't get rewarded for repenting. You repent because you are supposed to repent. I am a big fan of original sin. People say you're born innocent, but you aren't. Look at children. They are awful. Kids are cruel, Jack. But there is a line between bad and evil. Evil is you if you were better at and willing to do what you were born to do. And I've been thinking a lot about things that are just not in you, or that you don't have conscious access to yet. Because remember, your conscious you ferries around the shadow you that comes out at very bad moments in your life, or when you need it to. The you that magically can do shit you not only can you not do, you've never even seen before. And it comes out with those abilities when you need them, but you can't do them even though you are the one doing them. That's one of the reasons I almost exclusively date killers. Not literally, but people who know how to do evil to gainful effect. I'm too weak and stupid to be evil effectively. I'm a bad person generally, but because of a mixture of fear, weakness, and worminess, I can't swim. All I can do is be a bad person trying to repent and getting nowhere. One of the primordial truths has been sitting on my head lately. The fact people only care about you insofar as you can do for them. That's why you'll often have connections with people in which they'll do things for you materially when you need it, maybe. But nobody cares about how you feel. The materialism, by the way, is expected to be paid back with interest. But on that emotional front, not only do people not care about how you feel, or a better way to put it, it's more than just people being unable to help you emotionally. It's the fact almost nobody cares to try to figure out how you feel at all, much less to try to aid you if they are at all aware. I don't know if I want to be a father anymore, and that's fucking me up. As in, the more, quotes, capable and aware I become, the less qualified I feel to be an emotional, loving, supportive father to a child. The world kicks you into being a bad person and trying to become an evil person, and then kicks you even harder when you get there. And it makes you so calloused, so much less sympathetic or empathetic. You're turned into the exact sort of person you don't want raising the next generation, and then you're blamed for becoming that. That's another thing I'm trying to come to terms with. Not only are your genes not worth passing along, you don't want to inflict another person with your genetic makeup, but also, you aren't even equipped, maybe, to give that person an ideal upbringing, a fighting chance if you did, if you tried. And I feel robbed because I know there are so many people who believe having children is not an essential part of the human experience, but in my opinion, or to me, it is. Not for everybody, but for me, yes. You watch yourself reflect the nastiness in the world you hate, and you see another door close. And it sucks because you weren't always like this. You became like this because this is what you needed to be to get by, and you've still gotten nowhere. You've nothing to show for what you've become, and your life has narrowed even further. So, if you are not going to be alive for love and family, then why are you here? I still believe in a purpose, part of that purpose being becoming whatever it is you're supposed to become, but not just, or not internally, but externally, materially. What does that look like? Well, the American dream and I don't know how to put it, the American meme is alive and well, but when I say the American meme is dead, I mean there isn't an ideal United States to strive for anymore. about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, I made a video describing how there is an ideal America to hold on to in a shared history and unity. That's not true. That's gone. That's dead. And it sure as shit doesn't lie in cowboys. Cowboys are nonsense. And today, a cowboy is a wealthy middle-aged man playing dress up. That's all it is. And that's probably all it's ever been. And from Deus Ex, actually. Haven't played it. Well, actually, no, I have played it recently, but I wasn't paying attention to the story, and it's so painful because why am I playing it if not for the story? Because it's brilliant, and the first time I played all the way through Deus Ex, I was astounded. One of the quotes from Deus Ex: God was the dream of good government. That is the case, in my opinion. And despite the fact the United States is dead, I mean, we've been talking for a long time about something that is both dead and alive. It's like a Schrodinger's state, a Schrodinger's individual. That's what we are. That's what the United States is. It is something dead and rotting while simultaneously still living, at least for now. But it's dead. It's done. There's no coming back from this. There's no legacy from it. It'll never turn into anything better. As it is anyway. And it tears me apart inside because God was the dream of good government, and forever, even after I understood our state, our history isn't what it is. It's just this ugly, festering thing trying to survive on the operating table and tearing everyone else apart in the process. Despite all that, an ideal version of the United States has lived in me since I was a little kid, and again, despite knowing all this, continues still to live in me. But it's a different thing now. Or it's the same thing adapted to reality. And that is a United States, or just a state based in superiority. A nation of a superior few. A nation composed of our planet's, our species' greatest. Like a greatest hits of the human race. And I don't just mean superior in one or two ways. I mean in every way. We are more moral than you are. In addition to being, of course, smarter, wealthier, stronger, better organized, etc. You put people in gulags. You chop off people's heads. You sodomize little boys. And... No, wait, that's what we're doing. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. You remember when the United States abducted boys as young as 8 and sodomized them? With no evidence, no reasoning. Their only crimes being born male and being too young to defend themselves in a state we wanted to have problems with. You remember when we took a series of genius IQ prodigy minors from our own country, some of whom had the ability to predict the future and maybe drag us out of the hell we were walking toward, and just torture them, just break their minds for no reason, and then get confused when one of them goes crazy? Ted Kaczynski was a victim of MKUltra, if you weren't aware. That shook the shit out of me when I found out about it. We didn't give the brightest minds, upcoming minds of a generation, all of our support and help them help us. We broke them. For no reason. because that's just what the United States is. That's who we are. It's it's disgusting. And I know other states are just as bad, but the fact that it's mine and we are supposed to be a nation that is superior to all other nations, especially morally, is sickening. At the very least, why would you commit such evil on your own people? And not just schmucks walking around, but on people with the capacity to do something good. Are you stupid? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Anyway, in my ideal state, we would be looking down our noses at the rest of the world, not because we are good enough at lying to cover up our evils and trick people into thinking we're actually the good guys, but because generally, despite our shitty attitudes, we are the good guys. We are making things better and bringing people who want to do better on board. And no matter how much of a wretch you are, once you are on board, you are better. You are participating in the bettering of the species, or at least are trying to create happiness and curtail evil somewhat. Because I think you can be a bad person and still stand against evil people. I am a piece of shit and a wretch, but I've never done many of the evil things other people seem to be celebrated for. And again, despite my being a wretch and a bad person, that still makes me superior to them. I'm not evil. And I don't even know about all of that because, well, part of me, this is one of the things another thing I've been struggling with. Part of me thinks if I had it in me to do evil well, then I would be evil because that might secure me more happiness. But recently, well, not actually recently, I wanted to make this video a while ago but hadn't thought enough through it yet, or hadn't reached the appropriate emotional state yet. I encountered in the wilds what I'm pretty sure was an evil test. So I was hiking and I walked into a little clearing and I heard squeaking. And I thought that was odd. It was so faint, I thought maybe I was hallucinating or something, but then I looked around and I found a bunch of little baby pinky mice in the middle of the clearing, and it was really weird. I didn't see a burrow or anything like that. I didn't see one of their parents around. Just saw a bunch of little pinky baby mice in the middle of this clearing. And I'm staring at them because this feels like a moment. God is watching. And one of the first thoughts that came to me, aside from how odd this all felt, was something resonant with, I don't remember what Korean manga is called. I think China is manhwa or something like that, or maybe that might be the Korean one. It's the ones that are broken up in a really stupid way. It's like a film reel, but the way things work, you can't look at it like a film reel. You have to go page by page, but the pages are all fucked up. Really stupid. Anyway, one of them was called, I think, Man with a Pink Veil or something like that. It's about a really big buff dude who is really gay. and feminine and effeminate or whatever. Likes pink shit and what are they? Stuffed animals, that kind of thing. But he has an appearance, or he's had to develop a facade in line with his build, i.e., really tough, brutish guy. And early on in the story, there's a moment they have like these baby chicks or whatever the class does, and these kids are just killing them. And the dude, the main character, gets kind of peer pressured, but he kind of resists it, and then he really takes it over. And he just takes one of the baby chicks and smashes it. And it destroys him, and he's haunted by it for as long as I was reading it, up to the point I was up to. I think it was relatively new when I was reading it. Anyway, that came to mind. If you're going to be evil, then a good, easy start will be smashing these baby mice. Mice are so insignificant. So many are killed every day. They are pests. It won't matter. And even though it does matter, and you're aware it matters because this is fucking you up, then nobody is going to know about it. You're in the middle of nowhere. There probably isn't another person for at least 4 miles. This is between you and God. And despite entertaining that thought at all, there was nothing in me that was going to let me do that. That was pretty immediate, and it was making me sick just thinking about it, all this. So then, of course, the universe ups the ante. While I am standing there staring at these baby mice, I see one of them a little bit further away, dead. Not eaten, just shredded, torn open. Again, to my eyes, not eaten at all. And something that small, if something wanted to eat it, it probably could have just swallowed it, but it didn't. Whatever it was, just tore it open and left it there. And then I spot a hawk sitting on a branch, probably 12 feet away from me. Not afraid of me whatsoever. Sitting as close to those baby mice as it can without coming down. But it sees me. I try to, shake to make it go away. It doesn't go away. It's just standing there, staring at me, waiting for me to move on. So it can finish up doing what I'm guessing it was there to do. That hit me with another set of options. 1, kill the hawk. I wouldn't have felt as bad about killing that hawk as I would have about killing those baby mice, but I chose not to because, if I'm not mistaken, killing that breed of hawk, or any breed of hawk, there's a bunch of shit out in the woods you're not allowed to kill, and you can go to jail for like 10 years or some stupid shit like that for killing this animal that's slaughtering baby mice. Could have killed the hawk, chose not to. Pure, rationalized self-preservation. That hawk doesn't kill them, something else will. Still, you are a bad person for not intervening. Second option, take the mice with you. That sounds like a lot of work, and you have a history of getting animals you try to save killed somehow. It's like a curse. So you're not going to do that because it's a lot of work, and because you'd prefer to preserve your own emotions over their lives. Bad person. Third option, mercy kill them. Well, you've watched The Mist before, and you've seen what happens when people think they have the right, a mortal has the right, to take life and death into their own hands. Other people's anyway. You take that choice from them. Never works out well. So you can't do that either. Final option, walk away and dry vomit later. So, of course, that's the one I go with. And that's been bothering me for a while now. But I haven't, again, had enough to talk about or reached the correct emotional state to talk about it. You might not be evil, but you aren't good. You're squarely in the bad camp, the original sin camp. And that's relevant for mechanical reasons too. That was sort of a dry run I failed regarding embracing evil. I got to watch a ranger shoot up close, a pure thumbhead person. Like the sort of guy who shit talks loan forgiveness, but then supports bank bailouts and sending money to Israel. More money to Israel. Shit, we should be sending so much more money to Israel. Got to watch this individual shoot, and it was disturbing. Like watching a grizzly bear up close, or watching an MMA fighter up close. They're on a completely different level. You can be practicing all you want, but the difference between a normal ass person practicing as much as they can reasonably and someone who is born to do it, is engineered to do it, and does it professionally and believes in it, it's a completely different animal. So if Sodomizer Supreme here is just one of the people, one of the many people you would be, in theory, standing against when Uncle Sam says your time is up, everyone's time is up, you're done. If you're trying to compare oranges to oranges, you're done. You gotta come up with something else, something more. And I was thinking about and reading about survivors of trauma and different things that really mess people up mentally. So, even if you do die instantly, you at least still stand the chance of ruining one of these sodomizers forever, hopefully. But to pull off most of them correctly, you would have to be evil. You'd have to go beyond defending yourself in some last stand. You'd have to be actively working toward really fucked up evil stuff if you wanted to try to ruin some of these people without having to compare oranges to oranges. And that's another thing I'm realizing I don't have in me, I think. Again, maybe it'll be there when push comes to shove and shadows start coming out, but I'm afraid that's not the case. And even if you did, what would the point be? You would be just another savage like them, like they are. I still can't believe Kaczynski was part of MK Ultra. Like, he gets into Harvard at 16. He is a high-level genius living among other minor high-level geniuses. And what do they get? Do they get supported? Do they get nurtured? They're still minors. They might be geniuses, they're still minors. Did they get uplifted into positions they could use their minds to do good things? No, they got mind broken. If you don't have the capacity to be as evil as you need to be to make any substantial change in the world, then what are you good for? I'm surprised we don't have more bona fide Jonestowns. There are tons of shitty little towns in the United States with 200 residents or fewer and tons of land for dirt cheap. There is nothing in those towns because there's no reason to be in those towns because there's nothing there. There aren't even natural wonders. There's just nothing. They're just there. But they feel like places that could feasibly be financially overrun by like minded individuals. And in such a situation, to begin changing the nation or building an arc, you wouldn't need to be all the wealthiest people on the planet or to get into the highest level positions. All you would need is a cradle, a nursery from which people of a certain outlook can be born and from there enter different levels of society and again not do anything specific or chase a particular goal. Just steer their little part of the ship in either a good or a repenting direction. And if not that, then at least keeping that dream of good government somewhere alive. Or at least cultivating somewhere that isn't what the United States is and also isn't anywhere else. You have no idea, or maybe you do, how painful it is being a patriot of a country that doesn't exist. And some people will say you're looking at the world the wrong way. You're seeing bad where there's actually good. But that's bullshit because you know good when it hits you. It's distinct. People can be good to each other. Good things can happen. They just aren't and don't almost all of the time. And when they do, bad people or bad things fuck them up or try to fuck them up immediately afterward. I suppose for now, my goal is going to be becoming successful enough I can try to do something decent without doing it in a way I'll miss it and feel destroyed when it's torn away from me. I cannot get over being coerced into becoming something and then being hated for becoming it, being punished for becoming it. I think that's one of the reasons I'm sympathetic toward these Vietnam dudes who were drafted. But that about rippity wraps this one up. I hope you enjoyed watching, because I certainly enjoyed making it. Another benefit of these order development videos is the lack of a thesis statement of a title means I feel less bad about going on tangents, because there are so many things that are order development. Like if you enjoyed, because it helps me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't, because we do this shit sometimes, and comment your thoughts, because I love hearing from you. That's the other thing. I don't ask people to share these videos. I appreciate when people do share these videos, but I don't ask people to share them because I like the people who find this channel stumbling into it in weird places. I like it happening organically. I think that makes the core viewership built of better stuff, less flimsy. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Really got a lot of fun on this channel. So much fun, in fact, you can mold that fun into something not fun and then smack it repeatedly because it's now not fun, even though your actions made it not fun. And that's so much we have on this channel, and I look forward to doing this with you guys again in the future.